Welcome to the third episode of Reality Bites. This is a podcast where we dig into the daily nitty-gritty, the truths of what it really takes to run a franchise business. I'm the host, Kat Hargraves, and today I am joined by the lovely Melissa Fowler, who is a partner at Stellarossa Café in Queensland. Welcome, Mel.
Thank you very much, Kat.
Great. And I can see that you're in the zone, you're in the business. Has it been a big day?
Every day is a big day when you are a partner in a business. So busy from early in the morning, and you just do your thing and slide all your personal stuff in between.
Yes, and that's a really good place to start, I think, because I think what people are most interested in is what does a day in the life of you look like? So as somebody who's running this business, you wake up at the crack of dawn. Talk me through what a typical day would look like for you.
Okay, well, I'm a mother of four sons. They've nearly grown. I've still got two at school, one in year 10, one in year 11. So I'm at the shop by 4:30 a.m. in the morning. If my husband's at work, then I have to be home again by 7 a.m. to do the school run. But normally up at 4, I'm here by 4:30 because I live literally 6 minutes down the road. I set the shop up for the day, turning everything on, all the basic setup for the day.
And what is the basic setup? Can we drill into that a little bit?
Yeah, okay. So when I come in, obviously the first thing you do is turn all your lights on, you put your tills out, you turn all your equipment on. We season and get the timing right on the coffee machine, fill all your ice bins, just have everything ready for service. And that's the job of the first person that starts in the morning. I personally like to be here in the morning because we're busy from the time our doors open at 5 a.m. is when basically our first car's sitting there at 5 a.m. waiting to drive through. The second staff member comes on at 5 a.m. They will actually take all the furniture out. If I have time, I'll do that, but normally I don't have time. Furniture's out, so then we're busy serving. So I generally am the head barista, but also duck across to do the headset and, doing the drive-through food. We do whatever. I believe in staff multitasking, so I don't have heaps of staff on to stand in one spot. It's important they multitask because that doesn't just save your wages. It's, works efficiently and effectively as well.
I imagine that gives people satisfaction too. They're learning different skills on the job. They're not stuck in one position.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the younger ones that we recruit for weekend work, I think they have so much more satisfaction out of that because if they've worked at prior franchises like the really big chains like McDonald's or Hungry Jack's and they're just standing on the fryer, they really get bored because they don't have that customer interaction. I think it's important they have that interaction.
Yes.
They don't improve themselves personally and really grow as a person if they don't get the different skills.
Yeah.
But so once that's done, if my husband's at work, I'll duck off at 7 o'clock, drop the boys to school and come back because we're pretty much flat out until just after lunch. And then, I might in there, I've got to do the rostering throughout the day and the ordering and the banking. So different days have different chores.
Yep.
Once I pick the boys up from school, then they've got their activity. So then I'll have to move on to that. So, and then, it might be footy training, it might be gym drop off, then it's gym pick up, footy training pick up when you get home, you're cooking dinner and then you're just mentally prepping. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's rewarding at the end of the day. Like washing gets put on for a timer to set sometimes at 4 a.m. and you hang it out and you get it off in the afternoon when you're home. Like it's just a juggle, but
you sound like Wonder Woman.
Well, I've been doing it for 14 years now. So it's and since my boys were little, they were only 1, 2, 4 and 10 when I started. So it's a lot easier now.
Yes. Okay, good. I have 3 girls. I understand the juggle very, very well.
Yeah. But you make it work.
You make it work, yeah. And I imagine the flexibility is such a blessing being a business owner and having that time to, I guess, be a little bit more flexible and manage things yourself.
Yeah, I think it's really important to know what your family's got on. Like, what your kids have on certain days, certain afternoons, mornings. And because you have that flexibility, you can roster yourself around those things. So you've got the certain times of the day where you're hands-on, the customers like to see you and talk to you because that's kind of a connection to the store. And then you can leave at certain times. You've got an extra staff member coming in to cover you, so you can go and do that job or go and run your child somewhere and come back again.
Yeah. And so what about thinking about after lunch? So you said it was very busy in the mornings around lunchtime. What does the afternoon and sort of closing time look like?
So we trade 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday, then 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday and Sunday.
Mm.
So the afternoons are like we're not as crazy busy with dine-in, but the drive-through still continues. We still trade for anybody who walks in, but that's when you clean and prep and start for the next day.
Mhm.
So we try and everything we create is prepped fresh. So if you order a toasty or a standout or a burger through our drive-through, it's not actually cooked until it's ordered through the headset. So we pre-prep it either that morning or the afternoon before, and so it's ready to go. So there's always things to keep you busy.
Yes, yes. I imagine it's quite a production line.
It certainly is.
Yeah. And then, so when all the prep's done and everything's cleaned up, what are you doing? You're locking up.
Well, yesterday, for example, my chef was sick, so she left here at 10 a.m. and she was on close for that 5:15 shift. So normally I'm out of here before school pickup, and generally, hopefully, I don't have to come back unless something like that happens.
Mhm.
So yesterday afternoon, I had to be the cook. So you've got to be the jack of all trades. It's where it's important to know your business inside out and back to front. So I cleaned down the kitchen and did all the scrubbing and the prep for today.
Yeah.
So I locked up. Other staff member finished at 5 o'clock, and then I did the tills and made sure everything was locked up properly and set the security alarms, and then away I went home
Yeah.
to dinner.
Wow. Like you say, you're a jack of all trades and you need to be inside every single role. So tell me, what does staffing look like in your business? How many staff would you have on any given day and what sort of roles are they doing?
So we have either 6 staff on a weekday, and we have 8 on a Saturday and Sunday. So you have 2 in the kitchen. So you have your main cook. So they cater and look after the cafe meals. And then you've got your second kitchen hand who actually is on a piece of equipment called the Unox. And that's what toasts and cooks all of our wraps and toasties. So the hardest thing to get used to is headset. So that was probably the biggest change going from a standard cafe into a drive-through scenario, because you've got to listen as the cars order. That's when the staff member puts the food on. So they're also cooking hash browns, chips, and just assisting. And then we have a main barista and a second barista. So the second barista is doing the shots and syrup. The main barista is doing milk. Then you have somebody when it's in the peak time, permanently on the headset. So they're taking orders and handing out. And you have somebody on cold drinks and front of house service. So on the weekend, you have a couple extra juniors, so just clearing tables, doing dishes, and running food and drinks, etc.
So a lot to juggle. And I imagine it's tough, like you say, if somebody's sick, either you have to step in or what's on a worst case scenario? What would you do if you had a whole lot of staff calling sick suddenly? Do you have enough backup to call in or?
Yeah, look, it's rough, and there's a
Yeah.
fine line between having enough staff and too many staff, because you want to look after the ones and give them enough hours so that they can live with the cost
Mhm.
of living today. To me, if you have too many on the books, it's not being fair to everybody if you can only give them, say, 2 shifts a week.
Mhm.
The kids on the weekend, I have adult staff during the week. I don't have a lot of junior staff because we don't really have afternoon shifts. Um, but on the weekend, kids, I only give them 1 shift. So on the Saturday or Sunday, because they've still got to do their schoolwork.
Yeah.
And it's
You
only
sound like a very nice boss.
if somebody calls in sick, then we do the ring around. But generally, if we have to run low staffed, my staff are trained well enough to be able to change from section to section and multitask. So, and my 2 supervisors that I have, if I'm not here, one of them is always here.
Okay, that's
So
good.
yeah.
Awesome. And what about employing your staff? Where do you find people?
Look, I like to employ the ones that actually show the initiative to walk in the door and are physically looking for a job. And that's just me. Like I've put ads on Facebook, and that gives them the target to come in. It gives them a temptation, They still email their resumes, and if they do, I'll email them back with a lot of questions that I want to know, and then I'll organise a face-to-face interview, because you don't know a person's enthusiasm about having a job until you actually meet them face to face. And you need to be motivated to be in this industry. You can't be lazy.
Yes.
You've got to be motivated, and you can get that by speaking to a person face to face. But generally, when they walk in, if I like them straight away, it's like, yeah, well, let's get you in for a 2-hour trial and see if they're the right fit for us and if we're the right fit for them, because we have to be the right fit for them, because you want to come to work and love what you do. And
Yes.
as a boss, that's what you want from your employees.
Yes. And you want to note that energy match as well, don't you? It's really important, especially with customer service.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're here and you're miserable and unhappy, then that betrays on the customer, and it's not fair on the customer. They're paying for their product and the service, so it's not hard to be friendly.
Yes. Well, no, definitely. Exactly. So important to get the right people. And so what about, had you ever run a business before you got into this?
No, I hadn't. I always said that when I went back to hospitality, I'd own it. And that's what I did. So Stellarossa was actually presented to me. Like, it wasn't actually a business that I found while I was searching. Um, but it just worked because it was an extremely young franchise at the time. So there was a fair bit of flexibility in what I could do in my first cafe, and which I loved that flexibility in the menu as such and different things. But as the franchise has grown, they've obviously implemented more things, and it's smooth sailing. So I've probably had to change my ways more to rein myself in to go within the brand then.
Sure. Okay. Yep. And what about things like, do you have to do a lot of marketing? Do you do that yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Stellarossa head office has only just recently started a marketing fund. Um, so they will assist you with doing, I might take a photo of something, and if I don't think I can make it look right, I can send it to our marketing girl, and she can actually do it up as a nice poster for publicising. But that's only 1%. So that's nothing compared to a lot of other chains. So I actually set a budget, and I do my own marketing.
Okay. And do you do socials or?
Yeah, look, sometimes I get a bit slack with social media because it's just a time factor, and admin is not my strong point. So everybody has a weakness, and that's probably mine. But I do a lot of local stuff. So I do a lot of, if there's a fun run on, or they're raising money for this, or different events I like to get involved with. So I'm more proactive around our community. And I think that's what's good with Stellarossa as a franchise, because it's not restricted, because in the sense of marketing, your demographic and your area, because they're all so different.
Mhm. Fantastic. So you'll get involved in what way are you getting involved in these events? Like, you're doing the fun runs, are you wearing the merch? Are you there with posters and giveaways, or?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the event itself. Sometimes you're just a guest, but you get meals and that, and you have your pull-up banners and all that sort of thing around. It might be some sort of sponsorship that we've just done one for. They've raised money for kids' cancer, and it's a postie bike ride. So we're on the back of their shirts, and there's so many postie bike riders have gone up north and come back, and they've raised over $100,000 with that. So then you have the social event afterwards, where you can also, wear their merch to publicise them, and you get your banners up and your marketing throughout everybody else who's sponsored. So
That's fantastic.
yeah, all these little things that are dear to my heart, I think. If you can help with those sort of charities, and also you get your branding out there, it's a win-win.
Win-win for everybody. I
Yeah,
think that's really
absolutely.
important. Well done on that.
Thank you.
And what's next? Is there anything else coming up?
Right now we're doing Project Pink. So the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we support Project Pink, which is breast cancer research. So this whole month is all about that. So you can probably see in the background, you can
Let's
see
see. Yep.
bras and pink
Yep.
banners. And so we're doing all crazy stuff this month. Like the last 2 days we've made midi muffins and we've been selling them for $2 through the drive-through, and we've sold out both days that we've done it. So
Yeah.
lots of little things. Our main day will be Saturday the 25th,
Mhm.
and we will be donating $1 from every single cup of coffee we sell that day to
Wow.
Project Pink. So I've set myself a goal of trying to raise $2,000 through the store, through donations and different activities that we're going to hold. So that's this month's focus.
Amazing. Oh, well done. I think
Thank
that's
you.
such a special and important cause, but it looks like you really enjoy doing it as well. And it looks
I,
beautiful. I can see the pink everywhere.
yeah, it's very pink in here. It's not my colour, but you know.
Oh, you could make it all work. Um,
Absolutely.
so what would you say, are there any unexpected parts of running a business, a franchise business that you didn't expect, or what's something that's you found challenging?
Yeah, look, if I went back to when I first started, I think one of the most important things is to make sure you have cash flow. Like it's all good to set your store up and think, oh yeah, I'm all good, but that cash flow is vital because things break down.
Yes.
You don't know when they're going to break down, when things are going to happen in that area, and you need to have the money because you can't run without, say, a coffee machine. You can't run without that cold room keeping at temperature. Just little things that are important that you stay on top of.
Yeah.
That's probably the most important thing.
Mhm.
Um, I'd say this day and age, it's extremely important to have surveillance cameras in your system, which is another expense, but it's vital for the longevity of your business with the crime rates and everything that's going around also.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so there are a couple of the main things that
Yeah,
can pop
okay.
up. And,
Yep.
staffing, always have a backup plan for your family life, I think,
Mhm.
because getting that workplace balance with family and work at the start when you first start in business, it's a big juggle.
Yeah.
You need a good support network for yourself
Mhm.
and your kids if you've got little kids still to get them to and fro, because if staff call in sick, you can't shut your doors. You want to keep your doors open of your business because that's your income.
Yep.
So it means sometimes that's you there.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So it's yeah, difficult at certain times, I imagine. So, and have you ever been stuck? Has there ever been a day where the kids have been sick and you can't get that back up in store, or have you always made it work?
Yeah, look, I haven't always made it work, and I don't think it's possible to always make it work. There has been times when I've had to literally close my store at 3 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock because I've had nobody to cover, and
Mhm.
I've gone and got my kids, and then I've brought them back to help with the cleanup.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so at the end of the day, you've got to do what you've got to do.
Mhm.
And there is always those times where things don't work out
Yep.
and you feel a little stressed, but
Mhm.
it's like, it's out of your control. So there's no sense in stressing over it. You've just got to do what you can do. You're
Absolutely.
you're one person at the end of the day. So yeah, just do your best. And if you can't do that day, then adjust your shop or put a note out. Or
Mhm.
as long as your customers know, they generally understand. You'll see them the
Yes.
next day, your regulars, and say, "I'm so sorry about that,"
Yeah.
and they're generally really good.
Yeah. I think people, for the most part, are very understanding and kind.
I think so. Majority are.
Yes. And so, what about your boys? Do any of them signed up to work in the business?
Yes, well, my oldest son's 25 and he's
Mhm.
got two little boys himself. So I'm a Nima to two little grandsons. But he worked for me from the time he was 13
Wow.
um, while he went through school. So I've given all of them a crack in here. So it's good
Mhm.
when they get to that age of 15. So I don't employ anybody else until they're 15, but my
Mhm.
boys start a bit younger. I've got one working for me at the moment,
Mhm.
Jesse. So he's 16. Joe, my 18-year-old, he was doing a school-based apprenticeship and he graduated last year. So he works full time now. Jesse's doing a school-based apprenticeship. So he does 1 day a week here and 1 day a week at his job. And Levi in year 10, well, he's got work experience coming up. He actually stepped foot in here first when he was 10 years old, but he likes fishing and socializing a bit much to commit him. So
Yeah, sure.
so he's not really committed to this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not really his thing, even though he's
Fair enough.
social. He prefers to throw a rod in than come and help his mother.
Well, it's not for everybody, and that's
No,
okay.
that's right. It's not for everybody.
And what about, is there any kind of tool or system or app that you use to run the business that you just can't live without?
Um, Look, as I said a little earlier on, I'm not an admin person.
Yep.
So it's well, I still do admin and a lot of it, but there is an app that we've moved on to which we use called TANDA. I'd honestly be lost without it because it connects to our POS system and the things I can download and the stats I can get off that saves me a lot of time and effort to get stats on your turnover, and I do all my rostering through that app, and I do all my wages through it, and it really simplifies things and makes life easy for me.
Fantastic, and all in one place.
All in one place, and it all connects and talks to each other. So you're not having to do a lot of manual stuff anymore. You can just search things up, or you can go onto our Lightspeed, which is our POS system, and I can pull any data out of there that I need. So I don't have to add and take things away, and it does it all for you. And also Tanda with wages keeps you compliant with the government.
Yep. Okay.
So it's updated on a very regular basis because there's a lot of compliancy with governments now with wages and that sort of thing. And you know that it's accurate. And I know when I do that, it's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So you've got that reassurance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And Mel, one last question. If you could describe heading up a franchise in one word, what would it be?
One word.
Or a few words.
Look, it's exciting, but it's still hard work.
Yeah.
That's just to put it simply, like the excitement, and it's rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Definitely.
really is rewarding, Kat. Like at the end of the day, like to go and start your own business up without having the knowledge of, all the legislations and the government requirements and your council requirements and all of that. It's hard. It's hard to do things right when you do it yourself and you don't have that knowledge as a new business owner. A franchise knows all of that and they can point you in the right directions. A franchise doesn't mean you don't work hard, or it's still your own business and you make your own decisions. They just give you the tools to make it easier.
Yeah. Fantastic. Sounds like a great structure and a great company.
It is, it is. I
And
swear
you
by
seem
them.
to really enjoy what you do.
I do. I think I'll be doing it for a long time yet.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, Mel, it has been so lovely talking to you today. Thank you so much for your time. That's a wrap on today's episode of Reality Bites. So a huge thank you for giving us a real world look into your daily life. And if anybody's listening and wondering what franchise ownership is really like, stick with this podcast because we do keep things fresh. We have lots of unfiltered views from brilliant business owners like Mel. And until next time, I'm Kat. This is Reality Bites. Mel, thank you so much again.
My pleasure.